Hi everyone, it's Jenny with Joey and Jenny's Little Yellow House. We're on YouTube and Instagram at Joey143Jenny, and we're also on Facebook at Joey and Jenny's Little Yellow House. Today I am going to make a heart post-surgery pillow for a friend of mine that has breast cancer, and she's going through treatments. Could be a little emotional video today. As you know, this beautiful fabric was designed by my sister, Cathe Holden, as she was going through her breast cancer journey. It's absolutely beautiful. The whole line is beautiful, and I'll link a video it's a very short video showing all of the fabric and how she came up with it and why she put every little detail in here based on her own journey. And it's actually quite beautiful. So this is Cathe's Leather and Lace and Amazing Grace. It came out last year, 2022. I'm certain you can still find it if you do your Google search or go on Etsy. I'm going to make this little pillow. Cathe used this pillow, and it's a kind of an underarm pillow, and she used it and found comfort with it. I am going to make it very plain, and I'll show you some other things that you can do with it based off of the project. So this is the one Cathe created, and then also I may try to get this done as well. This is a seatbelt cover, and it's a padded seatbelt cover, so I think that's neat. Also in this, I'll link this as well, this project pack. Also in here is this wonderful patchwork throw that is just made actually out of Cathe's faux patchwork from the kit, from the Leather and Lace and Amazing Grace grouping of fabric. And then also this portfolio, this folio thing here with the little handles to carry maybe medical necessities or cards, or just to keep whatever your friends may want to keep in it. So once you print this, it goes through every detail. It gives you, it tells you exactly how to do it with little instructional pictures. So if you're new to sewing, this is super easy. It gives you the patterns, and you may have already seen this. It's been out for quite a while, but I haven't made one yet. So I just thought I would go through it with you. So it's very, very simple sewing. Very easy to understand, although I am going to read the directions as we go because I want to make sure that I'm doing it as detailed. All right, and there is a picture of Cathe, sweet Cathe. Okay, oh, I made an extra copy of that so I could cut it, and I also made an extra copy, and that was for the folio. I also made an extra copy of the heart. And I did rough cut the heart out. When you print it on an 8.5 by 11, it kind of comes out like this. And then what you do is you match it up like that. And you just match the little dots, and you match the seam, etc. And I'm just going to match, I've got my handy dandy gift wrapping tape here. And I'm just going to match like I do when I match darts when sewing. I'm just going to put a pin in the center of that one and a pin in the center of that one, which is easy because it's basically right on the line. And that will hold. And then I'll put a pin in the center of this one. So yeah, if you could pray for my friend, her name is Jennifer. I know she would greatly appreciate it, as has Cathe appreciated all your prayers and love through her journey. All right, so see, that matches up very nicely. And then I'm just going to put a couple of pieces of tape here. Secure that. this. Okay. I'm just going to over secure a little bit right here. Okay. So the reason I left that a little rough is because I'm going to lay this on the fabric and then I'm going to cut it closer when I cut the fabric out. I'll put this over here. All right, so let's get the instruction booklet because I want you to be able to follow along. So it shows that you can, there's different ways that you can lay this out. It only takes a half a yard of fabric. And then, of course, your stuffing, I'm going to use 100% polyester stuffing. And it's very, very soft and very, very pliable. So there's some extra details in here. So it tells you that you can make a copy of the heart template. You can cut them out like this. And then there's how to make 2 pockets and then just take the strip off the bottom for a strap. The strap and the pockets are optional, and I'm not going to use those. This note here down at the bottom says, what works for some people going through chemo or surgery does not work for everyone. In Cathe's experience, the pocket seams were an irritation, but others aren't bothered and really like that extra little storage. If you're making to donate, a plain heart pillow is best. So I'm just going to go with a plain heart pillow, and I'm going to use this layout up here for just the heart. And so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the beautiful fabric, and I have, if you can believe it, this was so hard for me. I actually cut into it. I was making yo-yos. So I cut into it one day. Ah. All right, I'm just trying to get it a little bit organized. Okay. All right, do I have it upside down? Nope, the birdies are good. Okay, so basically what I want to do is on here it has a fold line. The dotted line is the fold line. And I'm going to lay that fold here on the fold of the fabric. I'm going to try to stay in camera. I'll keep checking periodically. And I'm going to, once I get this cut out, I will be ironing this so that it's a little bit better. Okay. Right now, I'm just making sure that I have enough fabric, but I don't want too much fabric because I don't want any waste. So I'm just laying it out. A little bit more. And really, anywhere that you cut it, you're going to get something beautiful. A couple of reasons why the fabric is gorgeous. But another thing is because this is so wide that you're going to get a really nice, whatever, spread. Okay, so maybe a teensy bit more, and then I think we're good to go. All right, let's see, put that on the fold. All right, everything's good. So I am going to go ahead and take some pins and pin that down, staying out of the way of where, I'm going to be cutting. I like to pin the fold first. Okay, and then I'm just going to put one in the center to just kind of help it to stay. All right, and then the curves are always a little tricky for me, so I'm going to put a couple there. Okay, very good. All right, now what I'm going to do is I have some pinking shears here, and I'm going to pink around it just because if this is laundered, which it probably will be at some point, I don't want the seams to easily come undone. So Now, when I pink, and I use these for fabric, and I don't use them very often, but I use them for fabric and paper, so copy paper is going to be fine for not messing these up for me. Use your own discretion, but I'm now going to just go along this line. So this is put out, as you can see here, by Moda. And so I'll link the Moda site for you. And you can also use that site, and when you just go to Moda, the modafabrics.com, I think, is the website. When you go to it, you can also look for fabric stores in your area that sell, I'm going to cut this straight off here, that sell Cathe Holden fabric, just to make it a little easier for me. I like to keep it down as low as I can. I feel like it keeps it a little bit better. Okay. Ah, come on. You could do this in any fabric. Okay, so I must have lifted that up a little bit. Let me trim that. Let's put a pin there. Keep it nice and flat. You can use any fabric, but I would just beware that it is pleasing to a very, very sensitive skin. I know that, you know, there are times where someone going through this type of, I don't have personal experience for myself, you know, just second, third hand, but there are times where someone is going through this and their skin is so sensitive, and they'll just wear maybe like a tank top, you know, or a cami. And so a lot of skin will be touching what, you know, the pillow. And so the least amount of anything that could cause an irritation, the better. Because I even thought about top stitching seams down, and then I was thinking about the sensitivity to a seam, like what Cathe had, and I just thought, no, I just don't even want to add anything different. Okay, so here's the front. Oh, isn't that pretty where the Amazing Grace showed up right in the center? Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing with the back. And since, for those of you that sew, since this is, you know, the same shape, I can do it the exact same way. I don't have to flip it over to be an opposite. So let's refold. Sorry, off camera a little bit. Okay, or all the way. All right, let's refold this way. And then we're going to just do the exact same thing. But I guess, I'll see. Let's see what this one, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and use, I am going to flip it over because this other side is not straight. Is there enough at the bottom maybe? No, I've cut into it too much, so I am going to flip it, you know, flip it over like this to do it. Make sure I have it wide enough. Okay, so what I'm going to do is exactly the same thing. I'm going to pin this down, and then I'm going to cut it out, and then I'll be right back. I'm going to pause you so you don't have to go through that again, okay? So just one moment. Okay, so I've ironed these. Here's my front, here's my back. They're both absolutely beautiful. They both show a little bit different, you know, parts. very similar, just different sections of the fabric. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to put right sides together, and on the pattern instructions, I've skipped down to number 6 because we're not going to do the strap and we're not going to do the pocket. So it says layer heart shapes, right sides together, and pin around edges to secure. And then it gives you information about if you're adding the straps. We're going to have a 1/2 inch seam allowance, and then it says to leave about a 3-inch opening. So one thing I do want to say, anytime you're leaving an opening, if you're new to sewing, if you leave the opening on the straight, you're going to love yourself later. Because if you leave an opening on a round, it's so hard to then stitch up after you've stuffed it to make it nice and smooth. So, okay, so this is where we're at right now. We're getting ready to do that. So let's get these together. And I want to make I'm going to start at the V because I think that's going to help me keep things nice. And that first one I pulled out was bent. This is going to help keep us nice and in line, I think. So now let's go down here to the point. Might be off just slightly, just based off of, cutting, which is okay. I want to just make sure they're in the same spot. I'm going to go up here. You could use clips. I do have some clips. Do I have them up here? Yeah, I have some clips. So you could easily use those as you go. They're great for going around a curve, I think. You can see here, I don't know what happened, but I got a little goofy. I got a little goofy on the edge there. This is just a little drawer I found at a flea market. It was like $1 or something, and I thought that is perfect. It's going to go, it'll be perfect for holding things. I keep these little clips elsewhere, but it's nice to have a few of them right here at the ready. Okay. Now this, I can't tell if I just cut it very different or if it's just not smooth. Just fine. Okay. And then I am going to go around here a little bit better. Got a little bit of fray on me. This is a very easy project, but I think it means a lot to someone that if you were giving it to them, that you're thinking about them and that you made something with them in mind. Plus, I know whenever I sew or make something for someone specific, I always think and pray over it while I'm doing it. So we're going to leave a 3-inch, and here's a way that I remind myself not to sew over an area. So it looks to me like the straightest part is about right here. So what I'll do is I'll take 2 pins and I'll put it like this. To me, that tells me don't go past that. Now, let's say I'm making a bunch of these and I've cut them out and I'm not, I'm just in my mode. I'll go ahead and put 2 pins at the start and 2 pins at the end. And that reminds me, don't sew there. I think I'll move these down a little bit. But if you're doing it straight away, you might remember to just start there. Okay, so now, oh goodness, spilled that whole thing. Okay, okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew that. And I'm going to do it in a straight stitch. I'm going to do just a regular stitch with my width at 3.2 or between 3 and 2, so 2.5 or whatever. And then same with the length. I always think that that's, you know, pretty good for, you know, when you're sewing something that is going to maybe have some wear and tear. And let me get, without knocking everything else over again, let me get my little thing out here to put these clips back in. Okay, so again, I'm going to start over here. And that's about a 1/2 inch, I'm going to say. So I'm going to sew, and then I'm going to take a couple of back stitches. Prior to, I hope this behaves, prior to sewing, you know, because I use this for paper, I went ahead and used my little brush and brushed out the bobbin casing, so hopefully it behaves. So I just pivoted there. Oh no, see, it's not, what's going on here? There we go. Oh, pin got caught. I didn't even see that pin. Huh. Interesting. Okay. Make sure nothing is going wonk. It is puckering a little bit. I'm not sure why, what's going on here. I may have to go over that point again because it looks like it skipped. And it's nothing integrity-wise. It's just that it's not going to have a nice point. I'm going a little slower than I normally go because if you've ever seen me sew, like for journals and stuff, I am just zing, let's get it done. But I want this to be very, very, you know, I want it to be a lot more exact because I really want it to turn out really nice for my friend. This heart shape, you know, heart shapes are fairly easy to make. You know, you just take a piece of paper and you cut kind of like a ice cream cone on a fold and then open it. It's a heart. But this heart shape is a little deeper in the V to allow for that to kind of come up under the armpit. So if there's been surgery or I don't know, if you've, you know, a drain port or whatever, it allows that nice fit of cushion under, you know, the arm. So that's why I'm going to go one more stitch. That's why this heart is just a little bit different. I would imagine making several of these would be helpful, unless the person wants to just, you know, carry it, which they might, you know, just keep it with them. If you're like me and you know someone that is suffering with cancer or any other illness or disease, all you want to do is help make things more comfortable, bearable, hopeful. You know, when things are comfortable, there is more hope, isn't there? We're called to have hope even if we're not comfortable, but it does make it nicer. So these are some really great things that Cathe and Moda have put together to help. Moda has a lot of free patterns if you ever get a chance to go over there. Okay. So we've got that done. I don't think we're going to need the sewing machine again. So I don't think. We'll see. I'm going to put it down here. Okay. Oh yeah, I wanted to do that V. I'm going to do that real quick before I forget. I'll show you what I mean. See how that skipped right there? I don't really care for that. Okay. Just take a couple of stitches. One more stitch. There we go. Come on. Okay. That ought to do it. Okay, now we can get this put down. I keep it right here next to me. I'm covered with little pieces of fabric. This is where it kind of went goofy. I think that's just caught in there. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, and I'm going to take some smaller shears to do this, is I'm just going to go around and clip to make it a little easier to, when we turn, to so that it doesn't pucker. Now there's different ways you can do this. You can just simply clip. You can take little notches out, which I think is helpful. But what I think I'm going to do is just take little notches this way instead of cutting into the fabric. I'm going to cut away from the fabric. So I'm just taking a smidge just on the outside of that seam where I have sewn. And making sure that I'm only cutting in that area, you know, I'm not cutting the other side or getting the tail in or anything like that. Okay, so that's basically what I'm doing, is I'm notching. Okay, so I'm going to pause again. I'm going to get that done and then I'll come right back. Thanks. Okay, so I turned it inside out and I clipped it, turned it inside out, and then I ironed it. And looking at the instructions, it gives a very good suggestion, which if you're used to sewing, you know that this does help. Let's see, where is it? Turn right side out and press, making sure to fold the seam allowance at the opening inside. Okay, so see, this is my opening here. And I went ahead and pressed the seam allowance down. So that's very, very helpful for when you come back and you hand stitch that close. So that's very helpful. Okay, so now we're going to fill with stuffing. It does make the point to be sure not to overfill. You want it to be padded. You want that padding, but not too firm either. So you want it to be a little squishy. So let's get started. It makes a suggestion, just fill a little at a time. So I have my billowy here. Let's poke some in. I've got my trusty chopstick. Get that up in there. So you just keep, you fill it until you feel like this is a good amount. Now, you may be able to get your hand up in there. I can get my hand up in there without stretching it too much. I don't want to compact, though, this fiber because, like the instructions say, you don't want it to be too full. You don't want it knobby either, Sometimes fiber, when it gets together, it can be kind of lumpy. This will start to take on, as the person uses it. Hopefully, as my friend Jennifer uses it, she'll, it'll take the shape that she needs. So I'll just get that up in there. Okay, I think that one looks good. Let's try the next one. Little at a time. That's the ticket when you're stuffing pillows or whatever, not taking big handfuls, putting a little at a time, and it just kind of settles in there. Now, if I were making a pillow, you've seen me do this before. If I'm making a pillow for, like, let's say the sofa or bed or whatever, I'll make a lining. I'll stuff the lining, and then I will make the outer. Now, on this one, we don't need to do that because this one's going to be like a used thing. It's not going to be just, sitting on the couch. Just kind of open that up a little bit. So you can see it's starting to take shape. It's taking a nice shape. I just love this fabric so much. It just shows so much hope and courage and love, and you can make anything out of this fabric. And then, of course, all of the fabrics that go with it, like this one is its own fabric. This is its own fabric. This is its own fabric. So many of these, are their own fabrics that you can get and make things coordinate. Oh, I've seen the sweetest little children's dresses made. This is to kind of, represent leather. It's a leather tooling. And then Cathe did it is pink. It's pretty. And she has it in different colors in this fabric collection. It's coming along. Make sure and get that kind of even here. Maybe just a little bit more. Okay, and then a little bit here. And a little bit down in the point here. Try not to ball it up too much. And then I'm just going to lay a little bit over that and this other to kind of blend it together a little bit. Oh, it feels really good. I love it. Okay, we don't need all of that. Set that aside. Here's our pattern. I'll set that aside. Okay, now it says to close the opening with a ladder stitch. If you have added a shoulder strap, simply tie a knot to adjust to the correct length. We didn't do that, so we're just going to do a ladder stitch. Now, I'm going to pin this a little bit here. I'm going to try to do this on camera, but my eyesight is not the best at this distance. So I may have to pause you again. Now what I like to do is I like to pin it down. So I flatten out some and then I pin it down so that way as I'm stitching, my little pins aren't getting in my way. My thread may still get caught on them once in a while, but they're not, you know, I'm not constantly fighting with them. Okay. Thread. Here's my white. Come on. Brother. Can I get it started? Yes, I can. Can I? Hold on. Yes. Alrighty, let's see here. Now, I've got a needle in here that is somewhat small. That's too thick. That one might work. I can get it threaded. Stand by. This may take a minute. Nope, I did it. All right. Okay, let's see if I can stitch. See it and you see it. So I'm just going to start on the inside here. And I don't know if this is a ladder stitch or not, but this is how I do it. I'm going to inside come out, come over, bring it over inside, come out, bring it over on the inside, come out, bring it over on the inside, come out, and then that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to pause you and I'm going to do that real fast. Well, I don't know how fast, but I'm going to do it real quick. We'll be right back. Okay, she's done. Very, very sweet, very cushiony. It's going to be hopefully of comfort, as I know it was for my sister and with her creating this beautiful fabric. Okay, so I am going to air this on my birthday, which is coming up, because truly the greatest gifts that I've been given are my family and sisters. And with Cathe creating this and creating the fabric that goes with it, oh man, am I so grateful for her. I'm so thankful. So she's just definitely a great gift to me. Look how those turned out. That's neat. So I'm going to air this on my birthday. And I hope you enjoy it. And I hope you go over to Moda and check this out. modafabrics.com. Stitch Pink project pack. And if you hashtag Stitch Pink, you're going to find a ton of stuff. Cathe was part of that Stitch Pink group. So yeah, go check that out and be sure and search Leather and Lace and Amazing Grace by Cathe Holden on Etsy and see if you can find this beautiful fabric. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. Thank you for your prayers for my friend Jennifer, and continue to pray for Cathe. You know, we appreciate that. So she's doing really, really good. But everyone can use prayer, especially if you've gone through something like this. So wishing you all well and health. And we'll see you in the next video. Don't forget, we pray blessings over you. And we want you to know you're so loved. All right. Bye, everybody.